From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy. Governor General Mary Simon says she hopes the next pope carries on Francis's legacy when it comes to reconciliation. She led the Canadian delegation at the pontiff's funeral this morning at the Vatican. She says Francis's apology for the Catholic Church's role in residential schools was very long fought for.
What's really important is for the Vatican to take up what Pope Francis has done and work on those issues that he laid out and gave such a profile around the world.
Francis came to Canada to apologize for the atrocities of the residential school system in 2022, and Simon says she told him how much survivors appreciated it. Catholic faithful gathered in Montreal at a cathedral on the day of Pope Francis's funeral at the Vatican. The Archbishop of Montreal, Christian Lepine, says it feels like time has stopped throughout this entire week.
Pope Francis was at the forefront of many things, and all we have to do and pray, invite people to pray, and also give the people a space where they can mourn together.
Francis has been buried in a private ceremony at St. Mary Major Basilica in Rome. The first Latin American pope died on Easter Monday at the age of 88. Liberal leader Mark Carney says he does not expect the U.S. to militarily invade Canada, but he does expect it to continue to try and squeeze Canada's economy. Carney says Canada must preserve its different values since the United States wants to make Canada subservient to the American financial machine. He says he's not concerned about President Donald Trump deporting people against the law and doesn't expect him to seek a third term.
The American system has many checks and balances. At its core is the rule of law, and I expect that to continue. Yes, I'm concerned about certain circumstances, and of course we continue to monitor the behavior in the U.S. with respect to agreements that we have with them.
Carney is campaigning across Ontario in battleground ridings, while echoing his previous messaging about Trump's economic threats. Canada is set to vote on a new federal government on Monday, with that election sparking hope in Newfoundland and Labrador's offshore oil industry. Energy NL's Charlene Johnson says policies from the former Liberal government under Justin Trudeau had the chilling effect on her sector's development in the province. Despite what has come before, Johnson says she's encouraged by comments from Liberal leader Mark Carney, suggesting his approach to oil and gas will be different from his predecessor. Iran and the United States have ended the in-depth negotiations in Oman over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program, with a promise for more talks. The talks ran for several hours on the eastern edge of the Arabian Peninsula. Iran's foreign minister told state television the parties exchanged written points throughout the day in discussions, and he described it as very serious and work-focused. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Ottawa Senators hope to stave off a 4-game sweep tonight when they host the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's 1 of 4 on the NHL's first-round playoff games scheduled today. Elsewhere, Andrei Vasilevskiy stopped 31 shots, and the Tampa Bay Lightning came back to beat the Florida Panthers 5-1, cutting their deficit in the first-round series. Ashton Bell scored twice, including one short-handed, to give the Ottawa Charge a 3-1 win over the Montreal Victoire in Professional Women's Hockey League action. Brianne Jenner also scored as the Charge inched closer toward earning their first-ever PWHL playoff berth. Meanwhile, the NHL has punished the main combatants in a bench-clearing altercation during last night's playoff game between Montreal and Washington. Canadiens forward Josh Anderson and Capitals forward Tom Wilson were each fined $5,000 by the league. Wilson and Anderson wound up throwing punches at each other on Washington's bench at the end of the second period. From the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.